We sound good, so do you want me to hit go?
Yes.
All right. Go live. Hitting go live. There we go. Hey, everyone. We're
Hey,
back.
Captain Nick.
Hi, everybody. Oh, you got a picture of a phaser on there. Oh, there we go. It's gone now. There was a
Yes, it
spoiler for a
was.
second.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. We're talking about phasers today. How you doing?
Yes.
You can't phase us.
Well, no, I think we've had some Trek news and some Trek announcements. Like, what? I mean, the first Klingon Discoveryville phased us.
But you can't phase us about phasers. You can stun us because they're stunning.
Ah.
Good God. There's all the puns out of the way right away. So welcome back, guys. 27 likes. Hit that like button if you haven't already, guys. It's a really great way to start off with the likes, so thank you.
And the real question, Stuart, is do you, do I, do they like phasers?
I mean, they should. They're watching Trekyards. We love phasers.
Yeah. That's a very good answer. I mean, I've always been enjoying of the phasers of Star Trek. And we've had the pleasure of holding and sort of doing videos on them. It's been phenomenal. We've got a bit more first-hand experience than the odd person, arguably more than quite a lot of people that worked on Star Trek, because some actors obviously worked with their phasers in their show. But why would a TNG actor hold a Enterprise phase pistol or blah blah blah? So we probably actually have more experience handheld than, which is awesome. It's brilliant.
Damn, Skippy. We've held some interesting stuff for sure.
Yeah, and it's fun because they're such a simple piece to understand, and that's why there's so many prop replicas, because they are, a piece of Trek that doesn't age, that you can take home with you, that you can go to conventions with. That, I know for me, my dad bought the plastic ones when he was whatevering, and he gave them to me when I was younger. I was like, oh look, here they are, and so I had them from a very young age. So they're part of almost toys, but not quite. So it's definitely, I think it's kind of like the ships in a sense. They don't age. They're heroes of their own scenes. Like you always think of that close up with Star Trek, the Star Trek 6 phaser. It's like, that's a hero shot. It got one. Other examples, the Pike, charging whatever the cage lasers. Like they get a lot of powerful moments actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely a fun piece of tech, and it'd be interesting to see how our lists are. I think I'm gonna surprise you with one
Me
thing
too.
on my list.
Me too. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not specifically one of the numbers, one of the phasers. You're going to be surprised by the overall list.
Cool.
And you're probably going to see a trend.
Mm.
And I'll have to explain that at some point, because I have different preferences when it comes to things, as you know.
Yes, and it's funny. I found briefly how I was actually building the list, because we have done this now a few times. It's very variable each time. How's this one?
This was very interesting. Like I got all the ones that you sent, like the big bunch.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay. Usually I kind of start and I kind of go through and make the list and then put the pictures. This one I had the pictures, so I just like started with one, boom, 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 all the way down. It's like that's 10 already. What? Okay, fine. But yeah, it was easy too. Like the top 3 in my head were just like, all right, cool. And then I had to go deliver something today, and took a drive, and I was thinking, should I shuffle those 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my gut. And I was really giving this a lot of thought. And then what's going to fall in like 4th? And so yeah, this was a fun one to make for sure.
Yeah, I normally go 10 to 1.
I do too.
And this one, it was an easy 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and 5, and 6. Oh, it was totally the other way around. I think there's a slight more distinction between them, because they are often so different. And obviously, once you start committing to them in the lineup, you're forced to do other ones lower down by the very nature of a top 10. So it made that easier than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, it was very different again.
And for me, because I had like another thing, bonus having them all in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I have like the names, or like whatever we do, I make a little list, and then I go and find the pictures as I'm trying to make the actual photos for you, and then it's like, shit, I think I might want to shuffle this one, because now seeing it, things like that. But this one, they were all there. It was just so easy. Just like boom.
Oh, I do apologize. I did miss out the 2 Enterprise phases and the cage laser, but I don't know if they're going to be in our top 10s to really necessarily qualify, but it should have been 21 because there was it worked out 21 different variations of Federation Hand Phasers, and you said to me in kind of
At least there might be more that we forgot. There might be one or two one-offs that we just didn't think about.
I mean, I didn't include all three variants of the JJ Phaser because at the end of the day, it's so similar. It's like, it's it's fine. The JJ, whatever. But when you said to me, are even 10? I'm like, yes. And then I found you 18 straight away. And then, but I think 22, 23 is quite clever, really.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. But guys, yes, I'm going to share now, and he will talk to you all. And hopefully,
that's right.
Hopefully, 100 people will be here when I get back because this is a good topic. I like it.
Yeah, we already have 63 and 40 likes, so that is awesome, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't. Let's get to at least 50 right away before Samuel gets back. Would be great. Don't forget you can super chat your comments or questions, and we will definitely read those on air as we tend to do with all of them. So thank you guys. Anyone that supports the channel by super chatting really means a lot. If you do want to just hang out in the regular chat, we do read a lot of those as well because we love the community and we love you guys. So by all means, talk amongst yourselves in the chat there. Don't forget you can help us on a monthly basis by joining the channel. There's a little join button down there beside the subscribe button, so click that, and that's a monthly thing as well, which shows your support for the channel, and you get your name highlighted. You get a little badge beside your name. It shows us that you love us, and we love that. So plus you get to use all the cool emojis and stickers for the live chat, and if you're here quite often, you might be into that kind of thing. Another way to help us monthly is heading over to Patreon/Trekyards and just doing that. Patreon is a monthly subscription service, so by all means consider doing that, or PayPal. You can send us a PayPal at trekyards@hotmail.com. All the relative information is down in the description of each video, so if you want to check those out, you can click some links, get some Teespring stuff, get some Trekyards merchandise, and also save yourself some money on Eagle Moss ships and cool things like that. So lots of great ways to help out yourself and us here at the channel and just be part of the community, and we really appreciate that. This is fourth five this week, guys. We only missed one on Monday. Usually we do 3, sometimes 2. This has been a pretty busy week, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying it, and I really appreciate all you guys joining us. I just read Eugene's super chat. I'm going to read that in a second, but kind of caught me off guard there. I thought you meant something else. Yeah, anyway, we'll talk about that when Samuel gets back. I'll read that. So, excuse me if I seem like I'm in pain. I did cut the grass today, and my lower back is kind of screaming at me because I didn't take any medication prior, as I should have. I didn't take any afterwards because I was sitting down uncomfortable. Then I got up to do this live, and I realized, shit, my back still hurts. So I took a medication right before the live. So hopefully it'll kick in midway through. But right now, I'm very uncomfortable. So set one of these phasers to stun and numb my back would be great. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this one. We got 52 likes now, so we did hit that 50 mark, so thank you so much, guys. Keep hitting the like button now if you haven't. If you have, don't hit it again because it just goes from blue to not hit, and that's not cool. If it's blue, that means you did do, so appreciate that. But yes, please hit the like button. I'm sure we can get another 8 likes to get to 60 by the time Sammy gets back, because we have 75 people here, which is great, and I hope to see over 120 for this one would be great. Not only likes, but just viewers. So hopefully Samuel sharing this will get some more people in, because this is Trekyards. This is what we do, ships and tech, and we have a love for phasers here. Samuel has a lot of prop phasers, as do I, because it's kind of our thing, definitely his thing, because he likes the costumes. I just like collecting the things that I really like. So,
yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, look, he's back.
Hello.
All right, well, let's just get into the super chats.
Yes.
Eugene, 1,000 rubles.
Oh.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Is this the Watch Mojo yards? Anyways, TNG Type 1 phaser is top tier. See, TNG Type 1? Oh, anyway, you said, I saw this super chat out of the corner of my eye when I was talking to you guys, and I saw Mojo, and I'm like, what the hell does Mojo have to do with this? I thought you were talking about the visual effects guy. But yeah, Watch Mojo, I get it. Top 10.
Yeah, I mean, these are fun though, and we did top 5s a long time ago, and these are top 10s in the truest sense of the annoying word, because we've got to think. But
everybody was pissed at us with those ones, because we did 10, we each did 5.
We have different
Everybody's
opinions.
It's only 5, guys. But yeah, but it's 10, so it's the top 20 now, I guess.
Based on our logic, yeah.
See if there's doubles, it's top 14, depending,
In today's top 17, we're doing. God, yeah. But it was nice because I was able to
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It's nice for him to be stuck on those, Joe. You're all happy. Thanks, Donnie.
I'm back now. See.
Yeah. So guys, let's have you decide who goes first this time. Me or Stuart?
First super chat.
There you go. You have the
first.
power. The power.
While we're doing that, while somebody's doing that, though, I will read some more super chats. We got Jordan Reed here, €5.
Thank you.
Yeah, £5. Sorry. Ergonomic boomerang phaser, practical ruggedness, Discovery season 1 and 2, assault phaser from the movies 5 and 6. Okay, well, we'll have to see how those stack up on our list.
I was like, how can you have numbers 5 and 6 of our top 10 as the same weapon? It's like, doesn't. So I had to deconstruct that a little bit.
Christopher Beatty, $5. I think there's a vast difference between my top and my favorite, but that's only because I'm not a red shirt on away missions.
Now, there's got to be almost a different order for which one do you most want in a firefight. Although they all work about the same, but that could be.
I think that'll be the discussion to have at the end.
Yes, I would agree.
Pick one of these in a certain situation. What would it be? Yeah,
I would agree. But obviously, they are all designed to be the best of their era, so it's kind of an unfair fight. Although Olsen says, do the rifles. I mean, hey, if this is successful, guys, and we've got a certain criteria for successful, and we're already on a good track there, that'd be fun.
And if you are interested, we have done, like you said, another earlier top 10, which was our top 5s,
yes,
which did rifles as well, separately.
So we'll probably have the exact same top 5 in said rifle, but we have got more since. Obviously, not that many new ones, because they're much more hard to get, hard to make, but, 2 new ones. Who knows? Discovery and Picard rifles may be high. But
see,
there's more hand phases, and we've definitely broadened it a little bit. I think our own personal taste may have changed slightly in the last 3 years as it's more varied, and we've got more acute picking top things. We're more analytical than we were then.
What's that? Sorry?
We're more analytical than we were then.
Yes. We might also have examples to show you. Who knows? We'll see. George Manley puts in $5. Mad respect for the channel, as always. Big fan of the Star Trek 5 and 6 assault hand phaser. Yeah, definitely a good one. Dan23 says, does this video include rifles? I already answered you earlier in the chat, Dan, and we just talked about it just now. No, it does not. As for the thumbnail, this is top hand phasers. So, yeah. Nobody's decided who's going first.
Well, Anton did say me in a non-super form of chat. Probably counts. I say I want to jump in right now.
But that works. I mean, I went first for the Star Wars thing,
I know, it does. Okay. All right, my number. There's my list, right? Okay, good. My number 10 in the top 10 of this week. And again, I found myself being quite broad in this because they are good in their own ways. My top 10, number 10, is the Kelvin timeline phaser. Specifically, the Beyond version, because it removed the shitty chrome. But now this isn't necessarily what I would consider my top 10, but I had them in front of me, and I judged this as my 10th best. So objectively, it must be because I judged it so. But in this context, it's actually a nice-ish design. The flipping thing is a lowering point because it makes it much stupider compared to normal phasers. It has 2 settings and that's a flip. It's not form follows function. It's stupid follows form. But if you remove that as a feature and just had it as a pure aesthetic, and we have sort of held one, it kind of worked, kind of didn't. But it's a nice enough looking phaser. It's just a sleeker TOS but not too tactical and not like the tactical phaser. It's more of a standalone. It's got graceful lines, just a stupid flippy thing. But if you remove that, it's not much. And it's actually a relatively nice phaser and a decently nice modernized TOS.
My number 10 is also the exact same phaser with the exact same picture, so we just might as well talk about it.
Yes. Haha.
Yes. I like the Beyond version better than the original Kelvin film, just for the simple reason that it is not a space age Buck Rogers chrome. It's a nice refined gray. Also, the emitter tips are not round on this one. They're they're more squat, which is really nice.
It fits.
We have seen them. Yeah, we have seen them constructed by the prop master himself, Kenny Palco. We got some video of that, which hasn't been released yet, where he talks about the process of designing these, which was fantastic. And yeah, it is a modernized take, a good reimagining of the original TOS phaser. The spinny thing is stupid. It's a very good sci-fi concept if it wasn't Star Trek, but it's something like to see on the screen. It's kind of neat. You know, which emitter tip is out, either stun or kill. It's kind of neat that way, but at the same time, it's a little too gimmicky for me. But take that part out, a dial or something on the top for your different setting, I'd be much more on board with it. But I do like that it's a one flick switch to like from kill to stun, as opposed to having to use your other hand to use a dial or whatever. It's kind of neat in that regard. So very sci-fi, but yeah, the chrome definitely made it feel like a Buck Rogers generic sci-fi from the 50s kind of feel. And this one definitely was an improvement.
Which same thing happened to the first contact rifles in Nemesis. They feel shittier somehow when they chrome plated it. For me anyway, they just feel less substantial and more gimmicky. I mean, well, it is a gimmick. And I was trying to think, if you didn't change the design but just had the tip swap from a glowing red...
You just want the tip? Just want the tip?
Well, sometimes the best bit. I mean, if you put in ice cream, the tip is the flake, and that's a delicious part of ice cream. So,
the tip is just the cheese.
But if they didn't swap and it just was a glowing red, and then you press button, it swaps to a glowing blue, that to me would be enough. Like, it changes polarization on the front. The flip is a beyond stupid gimmick. But I mean, it's a nice looking phaser, and it's clearly what it is. If it didn't have the back spine element, it would not be a Star Trek phaser. It would just be a gun-looking sleek thing. That grounds it. You know what it is. But that's also well done. You incorporate an important element. They could probably done a few more little touchstones. It's odd it's so removed, especially given why would the Kelvin being affected change the hand phasers? I don't know why they would necessarily. It's clearly not any more effective than the TOS phaser, given it only has 2 settings. TOS phaser can literally blow up a building, so it's clearly less effective. It's not more weapon modernized technology. So why would it replace TOS or even cage laser? Because it's cage laser time. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the TOS has like at least 10 settings. I mean, it's got heat up the rock setting. It's got
wide beam. I mean, this thing can't do wide beam pew pews. I mean, it's a far less. Now, it'd be fine if it was said in the film, like if they'd even shown the TOS phaser like a slightly modernized. This was the tactical phaser where it could fire quick fire, and so it doesn't make any sense in canon or even JJ canon, but it looks nice enough.
Austin says the very on-type T disruptor, not a Starfleet one, so it's not going to be on this list. And he wrote it Phazon. So,
but that's kind of nice. JJ's. There was 10 prime phases, so we're already over JJing a prime.
I didn't expect you to have this one on your list, honestly. So,
well, it's number 10, but I think it's a comfy slot at number 10.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good way to start off. So,
if these are the same damn lists,
you're actually using my folder, I think.
Well, we'll see at number 9. Are you ready? We'll see. Okay. My number 9 is the Nemesis Phaser.
Yeah, definitely different.
Okay, good. The Nemesis Phaser is better for me than the Kelvin Phaser, just because it's obviously a Star Trek phaser, and it's more functional because clearly it has more settings, etc. But inferior to the other TNG-esque phasers because it's too small, and having held them, it is actively too small. It feels unnecessarily sleek. It feels more like a laser pointer, and it's lost that elegance. It's gone into, because obviously for a point in our history we were as a monetary society shrinking because shrinking smaller is better, and then guess what, phones got bigger again because a certain amount of size is useful, and then phone bumps became a thing, and now they can be as huge as they want. You want the features. So minimalization was a trend, and Nemesis continued that. It's like the Trekyards becoming just iPads. It's like, really? That looks much worse. So this is inferior than others, but it's still a clearly Star Trek phaser. I do like the 3 grip. I like as a variant. But it's, I've held one, it's not as nice, but it is still more a phaser than the last one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of these, honestly. I get the ergonomics of doing this as opposed to a handle, but never really been a fan of that design. And this one, yes, seems a little bit too, like how you said, laser pointer, because I wouldn't know exactly what to say. There's just not a lot of detail on it either. It's just not one for me personally. But I kind of expected this to be on your list somewhere, so that's good at least.
Almost as low as possible, though.
Yeah, I think the buttons need more detail. It also needs it needs something a little more advanced on the top there to look nicer, in my opinion, like more lights or something. But
it's just sad when it was a step backwards from the previous phaser.
Yeah,
and that's the annoyance. Obviously, I'm doing fan films post Nemesis, and I've got this annoying canon problem of if I bring characters in, they should be using these phasers, but I don't want to buy these phasers. That's a problem for me. And I have Hero of the other phasers, which look much better in every way. God damn it, Star Trek, why you do? So I'm just going to ignore them, because I can.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Perfect!
Got some super chats before I get to my number 9.
Excellent.
Jordan Reed, £5.
Thank you.
Since the grips on the TOS phaser are connectable, I could make a walking stick out of a phaser. Hey, that's a good point, actually.
I mean,
I guess you could, yeah. Different power packs. This big ass phaser.
Extended power pack. Yeah, it's like a turret. Just turret.
With a unipod, yeah, instead of a tripod.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, why did number 1 even need the big gun? Just put a phaser on a tripod, like a charge pack tripod.
Yeah.
have it to building destroy mode, and just keep using it. But you've seen those like 9mm handguns that are just like 3 foot of mag because they can. It's like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
But you can do it. It's just ridiculous.
Sergeant Montgomery, $5. I like the Earth Starfleet EM-33 plasma pistol from Enterprise. It's beautiful, functional, and it's the granddaddy of phasers.
A pulse phasers. It's not actually a phased. It's not a phaser. It's a pulse phaser, but it is the granddaddy for sure.
Yeah, not a fan personally. So
see, it was almost on my list because I do like it a lot, but aesthetically, it's not quite there. Even though I do like it, but this is a top 10. And it's like, what would it beat? You know.
See, and that's the thing. I don't know if I'm just used to a lot of these phasers, but a lot of them. Like that one, for example, from Enterprise, it feels to me too 1950s sci-fi again. Like that, there's a fine line between being Star Trek and being kind of like, Buck Rogers-y, with the ray guns. And I don't know, the ones I picked definitely feel Star Trek to me, but I don't like the one from Enterprise.
Although
I have one, but I don't.
No, he's about the Mako pistol, not the phase pistol.
Oh. Trying to remember what the Mako pistol looks like. I know what
the
rifle looks like.
Yeah, so it looks the same as the pistol.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Because the phase pistol certainly looks like a Star Trek phaser. Like, it's silver, it looks like a phaser. But the pulse pistol, but it's meant to look older. It was their weapon for years beforehand, so it's the pre-Star Trek phaser, and so it fits that role quite nicely. And yeah, plasma, not phaser. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems too...
Well, it's a military utilitarian weapon before phasers, and it looks it.
It looks like a RoboCop gun.
Also RoboCop gun, yeah.
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 Well,
and Devereaux says the Phaser and Picard were civilian, weren't they? Well, we only saw 2 types of phasers. One was held by Seven, who she was still working Starfleet at the time. So that was a Starfleet phaser, and the other guys used sort of the same phaser, but not quite, and they used it for 2 frames. So, no, they're all civilians.
Yeah.
And besides, Feminist Ranger probably wouldn't build new phasers, they've just used existing phasers that are already very effective. Why would they invent new phasers, It's like saying civilian colonies wouldn't use phasers from Starfleet. It's like, of course they would, they just use old ones. I mean, we saw that trader guy using a Star Trek 6 phaser in TNG. They would just use phasers because they work very well.
You mean a Star Trek 3 phaser in TNG.
There you go.
Yeah, with the leather-wrapped handle.
Yeah.
Ruin the look of the goddamn thing. That's okay.
Easy to do with these things. So you're number 9, Stuart.
My number 9 is the Wrath of Khan.
Oh.
This one doesn't get a lot of love, and I understand
I'm surprised.
This one I didn't actually like. This is the exact same one as the motion picture. The motion picture was colored differently and had different colored lights on the top. This, they repainted it for Star Trek 2. You don't really see it very much. You get to see Kirk shoot the worm ear.
Well, it's a hero shot.
Yeah. And I since have one now from Art Asylum, and it is super comfortable to hold. The way that the front part detaches to become the Phaser Mark 1 essentially is really cool. Actually, the lights, the settings, the sounds, even the beam emitters for different settings have different flashing, like either 4 of them flashing or 2, or so it really changes it up. So as far as props go, and I really like this one. It's one of those things. It's like the Ambassador class. Never liked it till I built the model. This is the same way. Never liked it till I got it in my hand, and it's actually super comfortable, and it's very well balanced as well. It doesn't look like it, but it's super super comfy. So it's definitely one of my guilty pleasure phasers, I guess you'd call it. But it had to make the list, and it's actually barely above the Kelvin one. I considered swapping these two at one point, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. Can't do that. I still like this one. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a weird one. It's obviously they weren't. I don't even remember being in TOS because I'm sure it's on the belt or something. Like, it's so not in the film.
The motion picture.
Yeah. You'd so miss it. It's like they designed the Star Trek 6 phaser for 5 and also for 4. It's like they existed earlier. They just didn't use them because they didn't need to, and then we associate them with a certain film. So you're right, this one existed earlier, but you don't think of it that way. But actually, when you think about it in the grand context, the top looks like almost a TNG phaser, but still with a grip. So it's actually an effective hybrid. Oh wait, later phasers kind of ruin that. But this would have been a great in between. Actually, this would have been a perfect Enterprise C phaser, I think.
Exactly. Yes, this would have been a good fit right there. Absolutely.
And if you had added those TNG rubber grips to the handle, perfect C phaser. Like, wow.
Yeah.
No.
Never considered that till you said that, but now looking at it, you see the TNG-ness in it. Yeah, even the colors that they have for the buttons on the top,
and the fact that it has actual screens, which this Assault Phaser doesn't have, and whatever's in between them for something. They kind of ruin their own art design there a little bit. And it would be fun actually to see this version with take the top, add a bit of a handle into it, kind of like a TNG phase. Like, how would you modify, do that in between step, like a prototype TNG-esque of this? I think it would be quite interesting.
And easy to do, I'm sure.
Yeah, not too hard. Nice. All right, I like it. My number 8.
Oh, hold on. Before you get to number 8, we have 110 people here, so you got over 100 like you wanted.
Yes.
I said I wanted 120, so
110.
With 79 likes, 80 likes now, because they know what's coming. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get to 100. That's 20 more likes. You can do it. 20 of you, use your phaser and tap that like button.
Just don't press, otherwise you'll destroy your computer and then you can't watch us. So just tap.
Yes, if you have a touchscreen.
Wow.
That isn't capacitive touch.
Or it's just threatening the monitor, because it'll know. It's like, tap, you do it, you press the like button. And it's like, but I'm not a touchscreen. You're like, you will be. You will be. You will be.
Jordan Reed, 2 pounds. The Enterprise C did use these phasers in red. Red? I don't remember seeing a red one ever.
Well, probably another one of those situations where, which doesn't, I mean, that obviously doesn't make sense. That, although I guess Assault Phaser is called an Assault Phaser for a reason.
We're using the Star Trek 3 phaser.
Because there was a phaser after this. There's 2 phases after this, so it would be odd for the Enterprise C. I think I do remember that one. I'm going to obviously look as well. Red, though. It must be on Castillo's... whatever the...
Castiel. Not Castiel.
No, that's Supernatural.
Yeah, that's Supernatural. Goddamn.
Or Stargate if
Costello,
you go season 10.
Costello.
Castiel and Veganbray, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, ancient planets.
I can't find a picture of it, so I don't know.
I think there's a... Well, I say it on a belt, but the belt was the other dude's. Let's have a look.
I think we would have pointed that out in our review, and I don't even remember that.
So obviously our guys have got phasers on belts. So they never fired it or anything, so I can see there was something on his belt. Let's have a look. Yep, it's silver, but it's awkwardly on his belt. So yes, I guess they went back to using this one. Hey, we're right, this Stuart. And did you realize
Nice.
it doesn't
Cool.
look good? It's that entire thing. The outfit doesn't look as good, and the way it's attached looks less good. Why they do, Stuart? Why they do?
I don't know, man.
I don't know either. Wasn't Stargate Universe. It was SG1 season 9. My number 8 though, Stuart, is the Section 31 Discovery Phaser, which is a ballsy choice, I know, because I'm going Discovery, guys. A phaser that a lot of you probably didn't know existed, because it exists more in promotional pictures than it does in the actual show. Yes, they designed an actual custom phaser for Giorgio Pew Pew, and they put way too much thought into it, given its screen time. But really, it's just a rip-off of a 40-year-old, 40 years in the future phaser. Although I guess you could argue that Section 31 is about 40 years advance of maybe, but it's like you just stole your own future phaser and called it a phaser. Really?
You know what it looks like? It looks like a Romulan TNG disruptor without the forward bit, without the forward hand guard bit.
Can't necessarily visualize that, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, and if they were totally on board with make the Section 31 show, it wasn't overthought in that case because it'll probably make it a reappearance. But
sure, yeah, I guess
it's a nice design for sure. It's very sleek. It's too sleek for the era, but yeah, like you said, Section 31 advanced tech maybe, sure.
But then if they have it, it makes the assault phaser feel redundant because it's now a 40-year-old technology. I mean, obviously of a similar ilk. That's probably making it too close. Like this should have looked way more like TOS. That would have been the way of making it more advanced, because Discovery phasers are older, and the fact that the front bit comes out when it's wanting to fire, and it's like, why is the emitter moving in and out? Why is that?
Because the TOS phaser emitter moves in and out.
But it's so subtle you never notice. This is obnoxious. It's like beep. But it doesn't.
Yeah, well, they wanted us to know that they pay attention, and the TOS one, when you rotate it, goes bigger and smaller a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he knew that, the designer.
No, I don't think so either.
But it has got a Type 1. I mean, like I say, it's low on the list. It's kind of sexier than the Nemesis Phaser, but I already told you that wasn't sexy. I like it more than JJ Phaser because it's overall more cohesive design.
Yeah.
And it's certainly, again, a lovely... If Discovery was a retcon universe, as it really is, this is a wonderful idea, having the evil phaser people be the assault phaser, which by definition goes against Starfleet principles, so it kind of... It's a clever nod, it just doesn't make sense in the context of what era or show it's in.
Mark Lawrence, though, $5. My favorite phaser is Tuvok's improvised weapon in the episode Displaced.
Yeah. I like that one too. It's made from a shower. It's not a shower.
Can't picture it right now. But...
I like that. I like that episode a lot. I'm looking forward to reviewing that because I really like that episode. It's very different. It's very sci-fi. It's very Star Trek, dare I say.
It's a good segue into my next one, because this one isn't very Star Trek, but I still like it. And it's also Discovery in number 8 slot. Discovery Season 3 phaser.
Oh my god!
Which, as I've said before, seems very generic sci-fi. But at the same time, it's like, I like this design. It doesn't say Star Trek to me, though, unfortunately. But I had to include it on the list because I do have some love for Discovery stuff. This is
if
a
it
nice...
earns it, because we're not biased, it's just earn it. Well, no, my last one was, so, you know, we both had Discovery. We both had JJ in 1, Discovery in 7. Oh, dear. Or number 8.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
But no, I think it's a neat looking design, but like it could definitely be any sci-fi franchise, unfortunately. But as far as a weapon goes, I like it. I think it's simple. It's got enough glowy little elements on the side there that light up, and it's just it's kind of blah. But I mean, how are you going to advance a phaser 900 years? And so I don't have a real issue with it not looking like the Star Trek or the Starfleet, look. I don't know. I think it's fine. It's cool to see it on screen, so that's why it's here. Number 8.
Yeah, I mean, it really is an alternate Orville phaser, which is the sad part. The Orville phaser, I'm trying to visualize the Orville phaser. I would say looks nicer than this, more cohesive. This feels like, it does feel like what it is, which is therefore, I would agree, it's better than they could have done for a long way. And the fact that disappears into your arm like it's a
Yes.
corporeal and non-corporeal phaser in the abstract, which is cool. You know, good for them. But it still is. I wish it was more of a TNG hold it like that phaser, because that would inspire me. Because ignore Picard for a second. That's where phasers were going. So going back to a gun look kind of goes against the point of phaser evolution into a actual phaser, not a gun phaser. Moved away from that. So going back to a gun is like, it's a gun again. You lose points for that. Or at least if it could, well, when we saw the other guy shift from like a beam to a gun to a, like, it would have been nice if it could like shift, maybe different settings. So it loses points for that, but it is, if you take Discovery as a prime example, or Picard, because they've been made at the same time, it certainly feels like a very sleeked version of their guns, but they use guns. I don't necessarily, I mean, look at the Picard phaser, it looks like a gun, a very weird bullshit gun. Who the hell knows, you know? Shouldn't be anyone's top list, top 10. So if this achieves, it's, you know, sleek, shiny, fits into the uniform design, fits into the set design. It's not so much inspired as successfully not annoying, which is still quite an achievement. I just wish it had some semblance of a callback, like even if it had a visible green LCD on it that would, like, little bars would go boop 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 like the TNG phaser to imply power level go up. That would be all I would need to link it directly. I think that would be and a little switch on like the Discovery like the JJ one where you go click and it goes boop click click boop click boop. Like that would be a lovely boom boom. Okay, nice touch. But there you go. So it's not high on your list, just not as low either.
Yeah. Kyle Wong, though,
Hey!
5 pounds.
Kai.
With all these weapons, how do you aim? With most current handguns and sidearms, there are sights to help you aim. That's the thing. With a projectile and you got ricochet and stuff, you need to aim. With these energy weapons, it's basically point and click. I can point my laser pointer and pretty much know exactly what I'm going to hit. I might be a little off, but I'm not like... You don't really have to aim with a energy weapon, in my opinion.
It's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, when you know it's gonna, for a certain range, it's gonna be pinpoint accurate. You can kind of do the math in your head, especially if you're also trained to use it. You just get used to it. If it goes forwards, there's no math though, just forward, so you can work out, and obviously you can swap your aim. But in reality, and this is part of the technical manual, it's got auto aim.
Yeah,
that's actually a part of it. It just targets the thing. You point at a target, it fires. Like it does the aim for you. It's that. I mean, come on, this is the future, guys. You know. I mean, you're not meant to kill people with them, so auto-aim's fine. Kill is not the normal setting, and if you're using kill, it's because you need to use kill, in which case, okay, you need to use kill.
Yeah, and Gareth makes a good point. To be honest, with projectile weapons, if you get close enough, you don't need to aim either. Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things, yeah, just if you're shooting from the hip, which they do a lot in Star Trek TOS and stuff, usually they're fairly close to the target. Yeah. But you do see other times where they actually, like, you know, if it's a distance, they'll like actually do the.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of lining up. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I like it.
All right, so number 7, Samuel.
Yes, my number 7 is the, what is that? I can't remember. Oh yes, your phaser, the Star Trek 3 phaser. Well, 2, I guess. Slightly higher from one. I thought it was going to be like your number 3 or 4 or 2. I'll be honest. I thought you would love this one. So it's slightly higher for me than for you, because it captures a super weirdness that actually kind of works. And it's above some of the other ones because its LED panel is its display panel on top. That's a really functional element that the Assault Phase hasn't got. That's not one they really have so much. So this kind of raises above those. It actually feels more functional, and I really like the flat emitter at the front. It's pulling away from the gun aspect, which is very important, I think, or at least important, and gives it more.
Very Gene Roddenberry.
Exactly. Yeah. It is still obviously the hand trigger, although it looks uncomfortable given how the back is. It's not elegant looking by any means, but it's a, you know, last resort use sidearm. You know whatever. And it's got a surprising amount of lights it can have, which is quite nice, actually. I've seen a hero one. It's like, oh, this is kind of pretty.
Yeah. Like I said, I got one in the other room. I could get it, and the lights and everything work on it. But fun fact on this one, the power pack is actually the back part of the upper portion, not the handle, which a lot of the Star Trek phasers have the handle being the power pack. So
I think the trigger being a literal circle shitty little button lets it down a bit. It looks...
What's that whole thing? That whole thing is the button.
See, that makes sense, but I don't remember. I don't remember there being that button. That's why I'm confused by this picture. Isn't there just a flat, big
No,
button?
there is a little button there, but it's not. It's just so you can index your finger, so you know where your finger is. But the whole thing, that whole thing where that line is, that whole thing is the trigger. So.
I just think it looks ugly with that button. I would sleek it down. I would give it a groove. I just think it is a shape that doesn't connect with it. I mean, I guess it's on top as well, but no. I mean, I
just would make it round. I would have it like rectangular or square even.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be better.
Yeah, but it actually's grown on me over the years. It's by no means the best, but it has a charm that very few other ones do have in this way. So there you go, number 7.
Well, my number 7 is the Discovery Section 31 phaser.
Yeah. Did we swap those around? I think we did.
I didn't.
No, I mean, did we swap? I think we had.
Oh yes.
Because I was
because I had the Discovery.
I was 8 and 7, and you were okay. Yeah, so almost though, almost.
Yeah. Same reasons you said. This is a very sleek-looking, very Star Trek feeling weapon. It just doesn't fit the era. It's not area appropriate, but again, the caveat is Section 31 has tech that the rest of the Federation doesn't necessarily know about. So sure, I guess. But like I said, the trigger, everything about this, if you look at a Romulan disruptor from TNG, it's basically a Romulan disruptor. So it could be that they stole Romulan tech. Sure, why not? Maybe this is an early Romulan disruptor design that they pilfered and changed into Starfleet. Snoopy McQueen, $5 with a "How's it going" sticker with a pair. So thank you very much, Snoopy. It's going good. Yeah, not much else to say about this one. We kind of covered it already, but the shell on top feels very beetle-like. It just looks like a beetle as well, which, take that for what it's worth. But you can see the ties to TOS and stuff. So yeah, it's cool.
It's just
wish it wasn't.
It's just abstractly wrong.
Yes.
It's another symbolism of the Discovery, at least the season 2 art team, and we know the Red Angel story, etc. They're just saying, "Oh, well, we can use any of canon we want, even if it doesn't fit, because we want to make our own show. Our show is what matters most. Doesn't matter if it fits. Doesn't matter if it fits." And I'd be fine with a few modifications, as with all these things, easy to fix.
Yes.
Like if this had a TOS, like little beam emitter at the front, if it had a power pack that could, like if it had a few TOS-isms but kept the top smoothness, then I'd be like, ooh, it's like a TOS assault phaser that I could buy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's just a more advanced looking assault phaser from 30 years in the future. Yeah. What do you guys seriously? What do you guys think about this phaser? Tell us right now. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Or meh? I would actually like to know, because it's such a people don't really know this one exists. So I was glad Google reminded me it existed, because I was like, oh, put this on the list.
Steps TV, the power drill phaser. A lot of weapons in Star Trek have that power drill feel. Actually, one of the Romulan disruptors was actually, they used was it a power washer?
No, that was the Klingon. That was the Klingon from Enterprise. That was literally just a washer. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's good. Good looking phaser, good looking disruptor. It's got its own unique vibe. It's called a power washer. Yeah. That's fun.
It's okay. Meh. Like it. It's no TOS Type 2, that's for sure. It looks awesome. It's okay. Sleek, would fit into Star Trek 3, in my opinion. Yes, this would be good for security guards in Star Trek 3. Like a security version, not the standard field issue phaser that we see in Star Trek 3. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, people seem to think it's all right, so that's good.
Yeah.
Should have been the JJ phaser. Yes. Perfectly acceptable reimagined TOS phaser. Sure.
And it would fit better with the idea of the Kelvin made us all more military.
Yeah.
It kind of skips into more aesthetic, because the TOS phaser isn't aesthetically a tactical phaser. It's not trying to be. This is.
Yeah.
Etc.
Cool.
Nice. I like it. My number 6. Ooh, getting through them. My number 6, let's see what it was. It's the Kelvin Phaser. And by that I mean the actual Kelvin Phaser. not used, unseen. We've held one. And I was very happy when we did our episode. I was like, Stuart, this thing exists. And you're like, what? Boy, is it weird. Boy, it doesn't fit. Boy, it looks a bit shit. But it looks kind of cool too. It's weird.
It looks like a medical device. It looks like the thing in the back. It looks like a really hypo spray.
Right, okay. I see.
The thing in the back could be like the vial of whatever. You put it in.
No. Okay, change it 10%, it would be. I agree. There's a few more gunnanisms, but, I can see that. But, I mean, how is this remotely a pre-TOS, post-NX phaser? It's chrome metal. It's industrial looking. It doesn't fit remotely.
I despise this phaser. I hate the handle. This looks like a gardening, like a washer hose, like a nozzle. It even has a place to plug in the hose at the back.
But it's so damn memorable, and it's such a choice, and it has more TOS-isms, like a few more than even the other phasers. And the fact they even put the effort in to design this and build it is really cool, because it was never, ever, ever, ever used. It's just so memorable as a design, yet trying to be still so faithful, but has its own unique style. I like that, and you could happily make this like out of TOS materials and tweak it slightly, and it'd be a gorgeous like pre-TOS phaser. Like, you could easily make this exact shape pre-TOS easily with a few modifications. Very little,
See, personally, I would have preferred this for Enterprise for the NX era.
As is, or changed a bit.
Changed a little bit, but as is close enough to TOS that it's like you can see that progression. Like, I get the phase pistols are bigger and bulkier and shielded, and with the way they pop out the power core. This one, the power core could just be that part at the back that slides in.
Yeah.
I think that would be great for that era. So, yeah, I don't hate it so much as I just change the handle and I'd be happy. The handle is too narrow, too small. I don't get it.
Well, and it's just made out of a weird metal. Like, it is a steampunk phaser, but seriously was made for a Star Trek feature film that J.J. Abrams presumably approved. And clearly, it's like, I know it's obviously a version, the Hero one we made, but like the Type 2 is clearly welded to the prop. Like, it's not even, it's not built to be shown, but it's so memorable and so interesting, and with so few changes. So I think just aesthetically, it's like, it's really interesting. Really, really interesting. But considering what it's beating in my list, the Star Trek 3 one, which is, it's very, very simple. The Discovery one, which is just a rip-off of the other phaser and doesn't fit into the era. The Nemesis, a worse Voyager one, and the JJ, which is a less
you
interesting.
say Star Trek 3, what do you mean?
You mean 2. I mean 2. The silver one.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's just more interesting to me. I don't know, yeah. I like it in its own way, clearly.
Didn't even make my list.
That's fine. But we've held it, It's weird. I like it. This would be fun to change, though, to make it TOS, like pre-TOS. Wouldn't be
easy
hard
to do.
Yeah. So I really like the front, like, extra lip and just... And having the power pack be at the back, I think, is actually a fun progression as TOS. Having a dedicated exterior battery and just have the handle be a handle. I think that's actually a very nice swap in. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Nice.
All right, so my number 6 is probably something that'll surprise everybody, but it's the Vengeance Phaser, which is very...
Well, Stuart, why are both our number 6 like the worst phasers? Yeah, they're both on our lists.
It's not the worst phaser. This is an awesome phaser.
Okay,
although it doesn't feel like a phaser. It just feels like a sci-fi gun again. But I really like the design of this. I had to throw it on the list. You don't even really see this thing. But again, Section 31, Vengeance, I'll give them a little bit of leeway. It is a cool-looking weapon. And I do say a cool-looking weapon, not necessarily cool-looking phaser. So I just really like the design. And it's almost like it's a progression from a handheld to a rifle, because it's getting that bigger back part. You can see the next step being just make it goddamn thing a rifle. So I don't know. This is a really, really cool design. Might not feel Star Trek, but it is a phaser. So I liked it. I liked it enough for number 6 on the list.
I felt we both had super controversial number 6 because again,
we do.
The fact that
very
beats
much do.
a Star Trek 6 knockoff, an Orville phaser a la future one, a classic Star Trek 2 phaser and JJ, although you've gone for alternate universes almost the entire lineup. Yeah, I mean, this was one as soon as I had this like picture, I was like, it's never going on my list, never in a million years. Instantly. So I love it. Same exact vibe as your.
We hate each other's number 6s.
Yeah, I think everyone else does. I think everyone else hates them too. No, because for me, this is, like you said, it's not Star Trek in any way. Like, there's no part of the design, except like the Picard phaser. It looks a lot like the Picard phaser, but I can't look at any element of this and say Star Trek. Like, guns have handles. Yeah. That's not a Star Trek trope. Like, literally not one element of this. Oh, I like that it came from a rifle. They just downsized a rifle. But, like, what were they thinking as artists? They weren't, I guess? Like, I mean, thank God it wasn't seen enough to be notable, but, like...
Hey, at least mine made a movie. Yours didn't even make it to the movie because they said no.
At least you can tell it's Star Trek.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, I agree. It's a kind of an okay design. I would lose most of the back grip. Because I do quite like how the emitter is like lodged in the. I quite like. I'd probably have the front, like make it a bit somehow. I mean, actually, no, I do. I'd move the grip back a little bit so that you could put your hand in the front, give that little grip surface and like a little button to make a laser pointer. So you have like a tactical, like a like a Glock 10 and like a shell. So it's kind of like a tactical Glock. I would do that to it. But yeah, this would be my bottom 10.
Fair enough.
But so would the Kelvin for you. Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to make the bottom 10.
God, we're having a wonderful time here. I love this.
So
my middle of the road, number 5, which beats the JJ.
Here's where the list probably starts to get better. All right, cool.
Is the Discovery Phaser. So you can be a judge if that gets better or not. Probably controversial to you all. That high in the list, given all the other stuff, given that it's Discovery, but one of the top elements of the Discovery verse. But that's because it clearly was designed with a different thing in mind, and they, unlike the uniforms, they committed to a good idea and they made them, and then everything else got butchered around it. Obviously, the problem is the colors and the hilt and the trigger. If you swapped out the handle and the trigger and repainted it, it would be an exceptional between phaser. The only caveat is that it literally is just a kit bash of those two phasers. So they don't get much creative credit for just kit bashing two. But that's what it could be or should be. So it's that weird one of where it makes more sense, but also it's less creatively interesting. But it is what you accept as being. It's just painted the wrong colour, like I said. And in fact, it'd be great to see this one made by a prop maker in a TOS colour palette. And like I say, it just fix the trigger. It's a crap looking trigger. Well, I mean, the TOS looks no better, let's be honest. But, I mean, something nice, just not the holes and whatever. But, I mean, it's a nice looking phaser for what it is. They never used a Type 1 in the show. Should be nice if they did. But it's the most respectful canon bullshit thing in the entire goddamn Discovery show. Which is weird. So, there you go.
It is a nice one that we might be talking about sometime in the near future from me.
No, I think it's too controversial, Stu. I doubt you'd pick it.
Well, you never know.
We never know.
It's true. You do never know.
What do you guys think?
I do like the design. It is a nice hybrid, a nice blend between the Cage era and TOS. And I think it was respectfully done. This is when Discovery first came out and we were comparing things. This is one of the things we both complimented for being good. It's a nice fit for the time period. Yes, we agree. So yeah, this is a nice little weapon. So as much as I'll say about it right now.
But it's so close to being even better. You know what I mean? It's that. Well, honestly, it does feel like the symbolism of the 25% rule from the initial. As we know, it wasn't a mandate, but it was a creative mandate, which is the more annoying portion. It feels like it's the same gun, but then it's changed to 25%, which is what they were told to do, at least on the ships, probably the props too. So it fits that very well. Yeah.
So I guess it's time for my number 5.
Although, do you have a like and super chat goal? Because 158 people are watching, guys. Oh, Stuart, I mean.
Ooh.
Go some goals, Stuart.
Let's get 130 likes. 17 likes. We can easily do that. Good to see 156 of you here, guys. As for super chats, yeah, honestly, another 100 would be great. um, with the halfway mark, a little bit below our normal, but that's okay. By all means, if you want a super chat, please consider doing so because it really helps us out, and we'd appreciate it. So I don't really have a goal per se, but I guess it's my turn for number 5 now. My number 5 is the Franklin Phaser, which, again, is a JJ thing, but that's okay. This one's really cool, and you can see the progression from the JJ, I guess this is earlier than the JJ one, but you can see the beam emitters is similar to the Beyond one as well.
Stuart, this is before the NX-01 one, theoretically. It isn't, because they were then retrofitted after it, but it's Romulan War era or slightly later.
Yeah. And actually, with the shapes of this, it looks very Cardassian, to be honest. But as for a weapon, I really like this design. It looks really cool. I think it's fine. It could have been a lot worse.
You're number 5 and you're saying it's fine. This isn't selling me this is your top 10, is it? Wow.
Well, I can't spew just talk about things. I like it. It's number 5 on my list. Okay. It's a cool looking design. Does it feel Star Trek? Yes, kind of. Not as much as some of the other ones, but more than some of the other ones that I've shown as well. So
it feels Kelvin Star Trek, which unfortunately is also if this was in another sci-fi in say 2004, you would be like, oh, it's a gun. But because the JJ guns are very similar, you think it's a Star Trek gun. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I'm just saying it makes sense what it's trying to do. It just doesn't link to the classic Trek. Like, where's any elements of the TOS gun in it? Or the Enterprise gun? There isn't any. But that's okay. It looks like Kelvin guns. But it's meant to be a early gun. But they don't care. They never cared about that stuff, so why should they start?
But I mean, as far as phasers go, there are worse. So
yeah,
like I do like the looks of this. Yeah. So yeah, that's where it is on my list.
And it was designed by John Eaves, so not
another bonus.
It's not his best work, but fits in well. This to me, I like it because the effort was made to design it. That I appreciate. The fact that it doesn't fit into canon at all isn't great. Like it should have looked more like the NX-1 Phaser, and it doesn't at all. And that's the gun it was next to in the era, in the timeline. Whereas it just looks like a proto JJ, which makes no sense at all. It shouldn't look like anything like the JJ Phaser. But again, they don't care, so it's a tricky one. My only issue with it, that's not on the list, is that it looks like a Lego gun. It's bulky, the gun. It's just a bulky JJ Phaser. That said, though, by having the integrated emitter at the front, makes me happy on the inside. And I like, if it was sleeked out a lot more and TOSified a little bit, this could be a very decent phaser, for sure. So it's a very weird one, but I do like it. Don't get me wrong, I do like it. I like it more than I like it more than the Vengeance one by about a bajillion %. And you like it more 1%. One grade on the curve. Interesting. I'm glad I put this in the reference notes then, because I was hoping people,
and the emitter being so similar to the Beyond one, you can tell it doesn't swing, but it almost seems like one side's kill, one side's stun. Because it looks like two separate emitters.
I like that.
So
yeah, I like that.
Just kind of the vibe that I get from it. But Matt Boardman, $10. Got a chance to hold the Discovery Phaser when they brought it into the office. I loved the weight of it. Scared the prop guy when I started to walk back to my desk with it. Yeah, it does look like it has a good chunk to it, a good weight. And, it's good. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Do they strap frickin' phaser beams to the animals in Cetacean Ops? Yes, but only on fight night.
I like it. I like it. Nice. Cool.
I don't have much else to say about it, but
it's nice. It's not in my top 10, but I like it. My number 4, the one that just missed bronze, is the Cobra Phaser, the TNG Phaser. Absolutely beats everything else on this list. Looks like a Star Trek Phaser, feels like a Star Trek Phaser, and having held, you don't think it's a comfy phaser based on the Playmates one or conceptually, but you actually hold it and it's absolutely fine. It was designed better than the replicas they could make. It was a tremendous step forward. It beats Dustbuster by 1,000,000,000%. It feels sleeker, more advanced. The details added were simple. I love the little things at the top that you can take off when they're getting inside the circuitry. The grip is very cool. The simpleness of the and also this one doesn't have the later season LEDs in, which is I wish I'd done that one, but that's a simple way of indicating how powerful it is. The JJ films never have that. It's just stun or kill. This actually has 27 or so whatever settings. It's a far more functional weapon. It feels more like a tool because they shouldn't be guns, and thank God they moved away from guns into actual, devices. It's sad that Trek's gone back to guns. Obviously they're prequels, but I'm sad that this is a better style of weapon in my opinion, because it's not a weapon as well. It's a tool. I mean, Geordie heats a fire with it. He also melts, copper to make tools. Yeah. That's a wonderful concept that it moves away from that and becomes a thing. But they look good when you point them. I mean, I used a phaser on my long from home. It looks great. It's so good an idea. And this was a great evolution and just so much better than Dustbuster. So,
yeah, Anton Smith said the Dustbuster for the win. Way to go, Commander. This is not the Dustbuster by any means. Yeah, I mean,
Dustbuster's kind of cool in its own like sci-fi way. This just feels like a practical prop. This removes the pomp and is now into the whatever. But yeah, much better than the other ones. This was the difference between the JJ phaser, the Discovery phaser, and this is like a big leap. All the other ones were kind of close. This is like, hands down better. So now we're getting to like, these are substantially better weapons and phasers. So yeah, Cobra.
I'm not a fan. Never been a fan of the Cobra phaser. Again, it doesn't have as much as curve as the later ones do, which seems more ergonomic to me. These ones are straight, which I think puts too much pressure on the thumb. I never really used one very much, but I can just imagine it's not as comfortable as holding like one with a handle, personally, for me.
It is fine, though. I mean, we have held it. It's absolutely... but you're not meant to use them very much. And especially in TNG, they were not wartime.
I like that you said that it's more of a tool than anything, because that makes a lot more sense. It doesn't look as menacing as a gun with a handle does. And yeah, you can use it for multiple purposes. So I do like your reasoning there. The grip, the way it is, always bugged me, because if you're like left-handed or right-handed, the grip's like weird. You don't really feel it, but you know what I mean? Like,
I'll tell you a secret though. They did make both versions, a left and a right.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. You just never noticed because you're holding it. They actually made both. Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah.
But they could have just made one that was uniform, then anybody could use it, right? Like,
well, you can use.
Are you left-handed or right-handed? In an emergency, there's a locker. I don't want to use that when it hurts.
But it does make no difference, though. I mean, really, why would it make a difference? It's just more aesthetics. But they did make both versions. I never realized until like 6 months ago. So
cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just not a fan of the emitter and stuff. It just looks a little too clunky for me. But
it looks more advanced than Dustbuster. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And the fact this is a part of the progression of a technology to other ones is such a distinct progression. It's just
And Matt Boardman, $5, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Indeed.
Well, or at least a bulky weapon for more elegant age, civilized aged. Words. Anyway.
All right, so I guess we're on my number 4 already. My number 4 is the Discovery Phaser.
Wow.
Again, we've kind of talked about the reasons. It is a good reimagining and a good bridge between the cage laser with the three emitted spinning thing, and the TOS one with the fins and stuff on the back. You can see they tried with this. They made it fit, unlike everything else in Discovery. And like Matt was saying, the weight for this one's really good. I've never actually held one, but I can imagine just by looking at how beefy and chunky this is, that yes, it's got a good weight, which I kind of want in a weapon. I don't want something that's too light. So I think this is fine. I'd have no problem with the trigger. I think the trigger actually looks kind of cool. But and the fact that it still has the detachable Phaser 1 on top as well. The only thing I hate about it really is the huge delta on the thing. Like, you don't have to delta up everything. You can't see it here. It's on top. It's on the which looks stupid, but yeah. But other than that, I mean, it's a nice progression towards TOS, and it still feels tactical and like an assault weapon, like a something that's designed to be a weapon.
Well, it feels like a gun.
Yeah.
Like it's a I'm sure Gene would be somewhat unhappy with it because it's a gun-avised TOS laser.
Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't be happy with most of the stuff on our list. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's my number 4. It's just it's one that I want to acquire. I haven't got one yet. I had the one ordered, but then they dropped the ball on that. And I know there's a lot of people who made 3D resin ones. It's one that if anybody has a bead on one, let me know because I'd like to get one. So yeah, I mean, it's just one that I wanted to add to the collection.
But I'm assuming though this is mostly your number 4 because it's mostly a TOS phaser. Like it has that nostalgic. It's not necessarily a good design. It's just it's a modernized TOS phaser.
I think it's a good design.
But because it's using mostly TOS pieces, is what I mean. Like it's not an original design as much as a TOS. Like I said before, it's a kit bash phaser. It's not an original, like the Kelvin one, or not the Vengeance one. Like, that's a new design. I'm just saying, like that is obviously a good bias, but I mean that's because it's so high. It
would definitely be a distinct bias because of that. Yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I've actually given Discovery a lot of props on my list, so don't be saying I'm a hater, guys. They do some things right.
And that is wow. Yeah, number 4.
Yeah, Matt Boardman, $5.
Matt Boardman.
It actually feels like you could expect to. It actually feels like you would expect it to. What? Plus, it also comes apart. Type 1, the power cell is in the grip. The front part can be turned, etc. I was wondering if the front part could be turned. Did we ever see them do that on the show?
No, but I've seen a behind-the-scenes thing of them doing it.
Okay. Because that makes it kind of cool too.
The prop makers are always more proud of the work than the people showing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Devo, yes, we know the cage takes place before Discovery. Yes.
Does he think we don't? It's a nice... Does he think we don't know that? Having reviewed 3 years of Discovery.
Unless he's replying to somebody.
I assume so.
To somebody in the chat.
Because that'd be odd to tell Trekyards that we don't know that.
Yeah.
That'd be a weird thing to tell us.
I appreciate the input.
Yes, but my bronze though.
Ooh,
it won the Olympic bronze for phasers. And what did I put? Let's find out. The TOS phaser.
Guess what? So did I. That's my number 3 as well. So we might as well just talk about it.
Okay, at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So is it? Yeah, I mean, it's, what is different about it is it's one of the most creative out of all the phasers. It's not a gun-looking gun, which wins on that measurement. The fact that it does feel like a, and no, let's actually alternate. That makes more sense. So it doesn't feel like a gun. You go. I'll say a point each.
Doesn't feel like a gun. Okay.
Yeah.
It still has that futuristic vibe to it. Again, this was the 60s. This was right after those 50s ray guns that I was complaining about. But it's definitely more real world than that. So it feels like something that could actually exist and doesn't feel like a silly 1950s B-movie ray gun. So yeah, it's got a nice look to it. It seems functional and practical. That being said, you think the emitter chip's going to break off any second if you drop it, and they whip them around in the show too, like the props. So I don't know how many got broken, but anyway, it's an elegant looking weapon for sure.
It has aged, certainly. It doesn't look advanced now because obviously it looks like what it looks like, but it does have a certain, because each piece feels specifically functional. That's really important. And when you look at it, you understand very quickly, because it's very obvious, it feels like a shell for the top gun. The phaser is actually the top gun, which is firing through a different lens in the second gun, being powered by a bigger power pack in the second gun, which is kind of what it's doing, which makes it feel even more advanced, because you could use the first gun, but if you want a bigger version of the gun, you slip those two pieces together, and boom, you've got a shell kit as well. Like I said, like a Glock stock thing. It's like, well, now it makes a bigger gun. They just rarely use it like that, but it's a very odd concept, but it's very sci-fi in that, yeah, it's a housing for a smaller gun, but makes a bigger gun.
Yeah. And yeah, that fact alone, that this is the little weapon that's actually all you need,
Yeah.
fits in your hand. And that's why when they got the TNG, the original ones that they had were so small, it looked like they were like firing just out of their fingertips, as it was said. So they had to make the Dustbuster and stuff. This one also has the sight thing that goes up, and you know, so there's a lot here that makes it a really elegant design. And yeah, the extra range, extra battery life. So just the housing, essentially, this part. So you don't even need that part. It's so neat, and it's got so many functions as well. Like there's like at least 10 on the dial. So we see Sulu, like I said, heat up a rock with it. Again, it's more of a tool than a weapon. So
yeah. Whereas a lot of the other guns in this list, like the Discovery Season 3 one, whatever, like they're just sort of a front with a handle. There's no function feeling there. Now this one also feels like gimmicky function. Look, there's a knob, there's a dial, there's a twisty thing, but it gives it an overall like techno vibe in that kind of retro future way. Like you would need to modernize it to really get away with it now, and Discovery just makes a gun with some of these pieces attached. This doesn't feel like a gun so much, and it'd be kind of fun if they even had like, actually wouldn't it be kind of a fun concept if they even had like a mini power pack where it's no longer a handle, you've actually got to hold it at the back like a TNG phaser, like a mini power pack.
Oh yeah.
Like I could see that being, sure. Yeah, it wouldn't be very hard at all. Obviously, there's no. Well,
that's the thing. The Mark I is basically you evolve this design, it becomes a TNG Cobra head, just like zoop with the handle. You got all the dials here. It's the same thing, and this is more uncomfortable to hold actually because you don't have the ergonomic handle behind you there. So.
Hadn't even considered that. Yeah, they say we don't need a second body. We can just use the first body and evolve that. I like that. That's a nice touch. But you know, it is iconic, and it still did look great in Intima Darkly, which is always the smell test. Does it look good 35, 40 years later? Yes. It looks retro good, but still looks great. You know, kind of like Han Solo's blaster. It's just a gun with the sight on it, but it looks cool retro sci-fi. You know, so yeah. Looks good.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, so no more super chats yet. Okay, that's cool. This might be a...
Yeah, not quite as successful as I thought it was going to be, Stuart. I'll be honest. Given them, but you know, I tried.
We had 136 viewers, 134 likes. Our likes are really good. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying. If you are, please let us know by either hitting that like button or if you want to contribute, let us know your favorite phaser via super chat or something. That would be great. I mean, we're coming down to the final two for each of us. So, yeah.
And like you said, we'll talk about then which ones we'd want in different situations, etc., etc.
Yeah, for sure.
So my number 2 then, my silver, the beats TOS, is the Assault Phaser from Star Trek 6. Now, it does kind of go against my idea of a gun, because this is a gun, but...
Yeah, it totally is.
But the extended mag look ironically takes it away from a gun, because it makes it look impractical as a gun, because guns are meant to be compact. It doesn't look compact, so it pulls away from that. The extreme housing, again, looks impractical compared to a gun, so it gives it an emitter with a shell and a handle vibe rather than a gun vibe, if you look at it as a sci-fi concept. So it actually somehow, even though it even has a gun dial switch, like it somehow doesn't have as much of a gun vibe as other gun vibes, because it's so integrated. It's weird that way.
It looks like a distinct kit bash between an actual handgun and the NX phaser pistol. That upper housing, I never realized it before, but that's very reminiscent of the NX.
I must have pulled from that. Yeah, and even the front bit is somewhat reminiscent. But then you got the back bit is just the TOS phaser, but then the entire middle bit is just a assault rifle switches.
Yeah, like the handle and that middle part at the bottom are definitely modern day gun elements. At least I feel like it. And yeah, the removable clip and stuff as well. Power pack.
Yeah.
It's neat, but and I love that it's distinct. It's got a distinct purpose though. It's an assault phaser. This is not the regular phaser. So
I don't know what that means necessarily. We never know or see. It doesn't necessarily. Why have they got phaser rifles? You don't need phaser rifle if a phaser can only blow down a building, you know. But it obviously is it's the apex of the gun variant design because it has that weird hybrid look, both looking advanced, looking sleek, looking simple, looking gun, looking not gun, and obviously we're biased because it was in the best films in some great scenes. Always helps. Would have been nice to have seen the Type 1 come out, as there is a Type 1, but that would have been, again, a bit pointless in the films. And I kind of like we didn't see the clips come out, because as soon as you realize, you're like, oh wow, it actually has gun clips. That's weird. But I like the fact there's a big red sticker on the bottom. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, it's a classic for a reason, even though it's as gunny as you can get while still being on the line. Whereas Discovery Phaser goes into the actual gun line. Because like this trigger's perfect. Simple, classy, fits in, boom.
Yeah. I just want to make a caveat here and just explain. My top 3 are actually my top 1 because I love them all equally.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Dang.
I just want to point that out.
Dang.
It was very hard to decide which order they should go in.
All right. So. Your number 1, 2 is?
My number 2 is the Star Trek 3 phaser.
Right.
Which is this bad boy. Love this design. This is such a refinement of the TOS design. Almost a perfect phaser. If not the perfect phaser. Top 3 are all number 1. So stop. Don't even start. This we didn't see enough of, unfortunately. We did see it in TNG, like I said, with the leather-wrapped handle, which made it look stupid. But it's such a cool design. Again, got the removable Type 1 with the different lights and stuff. And it's essentially just a perfect evolution from the TOS phaser. Sleeked out, much like the ships were for the refit era, and the uniforms. It was the perfect advancement on this. It's big sister. So that's why it's my number 2. I love this design. There you go. Don't know what else to say. Uhura got to use one, and you never saw enough of it, unfortunately. So,
wow.
Is that your number 1? No, it's probably not your number
1. No, God, no. No, for me, this is a bulky feeling, inelegant, weird-looking shape. It shapes.
Have you held one?
I must have, but not. I've never owned one.
It's so comfy to hold.
But so many of them are. I mean, that's not necessarily a win for me. It's so cobbled together. It feels as if they had less money and just had to sort of shove some stuff together. Like, I agree. You're right. It does feel like an evolution of the TOS one to some extent, but also in a weird like side direction. Like, I'm looking at them thinking, why did you do this? And why have the front be so distinct? Like, it doesn't look nice to me. It's cobbled together. It's as inorganic as the Star Trek 6 Phaser is organic. I'm amazed that's your number 2.
I love this phaser. Stop. One thing I don't know why they did is that.
Oh my God.
On the bottom of the handle.
That's weird. So where's the power pack in this one then?
That's a good question. I actually don't know. But this has got the square trigger for you. So
yeah, no, the trigger's fine. I actually don't mind.
They learned.
It looks silly, but it's like it's a button. It's like a button. Also out of focus. Yeah, no, I forgot even this one existed. I'll be honest. It's not even on my radar as like a one I like.
This is definitely one of my favorites, obviously. As you can tell.
It just damn. Wow. Damn.
Okay. Perfect. And Sergeant Montgomery says it has wireless charging. Yes, it has induction charging. So every time you're on the ship, it's sucking up power from around it to be charged. That's how the comm badges and stuff work.
But it's only 40,000 watts. Okay, it's not the fast charging that the later ones have. So guys, now we're at our number 1s. So I really want to see some guesses right now. You have to obviously know our entire list, but it's 151 of you. I want to see 10 5s of guesses. That would really help. And 4 likes. So what do you think each of our number 1s are? Tell us right now.
I can guess what your number 1 is.
And I know what yours is going to be, but I'm annoyed by your list now in general.
Wow.
Yes.
Because your favorite isn't on it, because I prefer
Well,
my
we'll get there.
handles.
We'll get there. We'll talk about it. Guys, what are our number ones? Come on, guys, have a guess. I know there's a delay, so I'm asking the future people because there's a delay. But what are our number ones in Futureland? It's currently 11:24, and you'll hear us at 11:26, I'm sure. Missed the first 5. Well, that's your fault, James. You weren't here. There are pictures. You can go back and look. Let us know.
I thought that the TOS Type 2 would be number 1. See, that's the thing. It almost was.
Well, you said 3 number ones, so it is number
I know.
1.
That's what I was... exactly.
Yeah.
My top 3 are my number 1s. I don't want to have to pick between them. I want all of them because...
Well, they're also the same phaser. Is the classic, the refit, and the assault. It's the same phaser, just three versions.
You don't know what my number 1 is. Don't presume to know what my number 1 is.
Well, I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Oh, Discovery Era. No, we already covered those.
Martin, no. Martin.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, man. It's a show. Enjoy the show. Any more guesses, guys, before we... Oh, we've got 152 and 152 likes and concurrent viewers. That's fun. The phases of Star Trek. Okay, and I'll be honest, I'm genuinely surprised the cage phaser isn't on yours, the cage laser, and certainly over the because I mean you're such a TOS fanboy, and that's an extension of TOS. I thought that would be over. I mean, certainly over the Vengeance phaser. So I'm honestly kind of blown away. It's not like a number 8.
I hate the cage phaser. I hate the way the handle looks. I hate.
It's awful in its own beautiful way, but
yeah,
you know you're a sucker for that stuff. So I was like,
I love surprising you. I guess I don't know.
No, this has been an interesting surprise. I would never have put the Kelvin, the Vengeance on yours. I'm kind of surprised that Kelvin got so high, or the Franken got so high. No, you've surprised me. I think you must surprise the audience as well. I certainly would have had a different list for you.
Surprised or disappointed. Either way, they're interchangeable.
They're always disappointed in us. Don't worry. Okay, Stuart. Do you want to know my number 1?
No, because I can tell you what your number 1 is.
Stuart, what's my number 1?
The Dolphin Phaser.
Obviously the Dolphin Phaser. Obviously. The pure epitome of Star Trek phaser. Now, I wouldn't have said that with a Playmates one, which is a bit crap. But it's perfectly ergonomic, perfectly pointable, perfectly advanced, perfectly sized, perfectly LED, and is in the best shows pretty much in terms of like... Yeah, I mean, just it's flawless. It is a flawless phaser. There's nothing wrong with it of any kind. Like, completely flawless. And owning one is even better. Like,
yeah.
Like, completely flawless. It wins easily. And it looks the most advanced. It looks the most sleek. It looks the most technological. It has the most functions because of the amount of, I mean, compared to like TOS phaser, go click, click, click. No, you know exactly what it's on. Like, it's just the absolute epitome of phasers. I mean, just it's not even a competition.
It's a glorified laser pointer. I'm just busting your balls. Relax.
You're boomeranging my balls.
I don't want them to come back, so no, I'm not.
I do. Yeah, absolutely perfect. And Rick Steinbeck did a beautiful job. Absolutely perfect. Not a flaw in sight. And not many things are perfect. Not many things are perfect.
I mean, it's good. It is ergonomic. You're right. I'm not a fan of it, honestly. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm just. I understand why you like it. I really do.
It just makes it so that the Vengeance phaser beats this, given that doesn't look like a Star Trek weapon and this is a Star Trek. That's really quite sad to me. That beats this by a massive margin. That's really sad. I
like my weapons to look like weapons, not like laser pointers. I like to have handles on them because it's nothing better than holding a weapon and have it like. This just doesn't do it for me. Sorry. Don't get mad at me. It's not like
I'm just disappointed. I'm not mad.
Well, that's even worse.
Yeah. Jesus. I was expecting this to be like at least 5 on your list. You'd be like, there's better ones. But I mean, again, Vengeance Phaser beating it is astounding to me.
AC Castillo, $2. Shoot dolphin phaser while making a dolphin noise.
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be your number one. And I knew that's what would piss you off is the fact that I didn't have anything remotely like it.
No, we haven't got your number one yet. You could have any.
Yeah.
Let's not say that yet.
That's true.
Is your number one the Cobra, the Dolphin, the Dustbuster, or the... What's the other one called?
Little cricket one.
No, the other one. The what's the name? Well, the Nemesis isn't Dolphin. What's Nemesis? I don't remember either. I don't like that one, so I would do it as number 10. But
my number one is the TNG Dustbuster. It's fucking sexy.
It busts dusts with the best of them.
It's not just a weapon; it's a vacuum.
Multi-tool, Lilo Dallas multi-tool.
No, my number one is the Star Trek 6 Assault Phaser. I love it. The only problem, you're absolutely right. It's too gun-like. It's even got the safety switches and stuff that the Colt 45 has. It's even got this part at the back like the Colt does where you have to put your hand on it to actually do anything. Hold on. Come on. Focus. 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 Not going to focus on me. Fine. Because it doesn't want to listen to my bullshit.
Just cover it for a second and then like I do it like so close, and take it away. Really? Yeah, maybe Skype's confused with your choice as well.
Yeah, probably.
What the hell? Turn off your camera and turn it on again. That might work.
Fine.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh yeah, there you go. Easy. Yeah, easy.
All right,
Sorry.
yeah. So, really like this. I've always liked this. Finally got my hands on one, and I like the weight of it. I like the feel. The grip is wonderful.
Although, which one is that? Because is that the toy one? Because the weight, there is no weight in the toy
No, this
one.
is a resin one.
But not a master. So it's a resin, not master replica, which is like actually weighted.
Right. It's
Okay.
not the Master's replica one, which with the movable clip and stuff.
So it's
I would
kinda-
love to get that one.
So it's kind of lucky the weight's so good because it's a resin one.
Yeah, it's got that good weight
Yeah.
because it's resin. And I love everything about it. Yes, it does look very military, it does look very weapon-like. That's not Star Trek, I get it. But hey, I'm Captain Foley. I like this. I don't care what you say. It looks great. And a weapon should look like a goddamn weapon. So, I don't know. All of mine have handles. That's one of the things that I was going to bring up. But I don't know. This is just really, really nice. And I don't know. Something about it. I just absolutely love it. So it's my number one. Loved it when I saw it in Star Trek 6 and have continued to love it since. But yeah, like I said, my top three are all like my favorite depending on the day. So I consider them all like my number one picks. So yeah, that's where I have to sit with that. Is it a hot glue gun? It is not a hot glue gun. No. I agree with Foley. A weapon should look like a weapon. Yeah, but like Samuel said, though, in fairness, this is Starfleet, not military. It's a tool that can be used for other things as well. So I do agree with that. But
Yeah, I mean,
this is a tool, and it also looks like a weapon. So
yeah, no, I find it sad, honestly, like I said, that they've gone back to guns because guns are guns. They're a disproportionate feel of the future. And that was TNG's one of their great achievements, was moving away from that. Nemesis just went too small. You know, it's forward thinking and interesting, and yeah, you don't want to have a gun-looking gun because we're past guns. And like I said, the Dolphin's perfectly comfortable. It's surprising. Like, you can't know until you've held one. It's completely comfortable. Like it's as comfortable as a gun. Like it's exactly as comfortable. But I mean, I get why you say that. It's just like they're disappointing because it's as iconic a style of phaser for how many seasons? Like 19 seasons versus less seasons of the other everything else. I'm just not even one got on the list. So I'm just kind of sad, honestly, because they're more iconic in a lot of ways.
I put the list together, and then I'm like, shit, there's nothing on here that Samuel's gonna like. Well, not that you won't like, but you know what I mean. And I'm like, wait a minute, they all have handles. I guess that says something about me. So it wasn't a conscious decision.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know why, but I don't like the TNG phasers. I get why you like them. I really do. But if I'm firing something, I want it to be my finger, not my thumb. I don't know. Don't be disappointed. Oh my god, he's so disappointed in me, guys.
It's just.
I'm gonna cry now. Jonathan C.
I'm gonna cry now. What do you mean you gonna cry now? Don't take that.
Because you're disappointed in me. I let you down, my friend.
No, I mean, I like I said, I thought it'd be on the 5.
Well, we can swap out the Franklin Phaser for it. There you go.
No, but I mean, you know, this one obviously, like I said, is my number 2 for a reason. And it's and also John Eves, one of Johnny's very first designs in Star Trek, which I never knew until again last year.
Yeah,
and his sketch is extremely close. They did a beautiful job just making a sketch. It's very, very close, even to the point of having like the removable. It's like literally one of his first things.
I just realized that because you're in charge of the stream and you know you're the commander and you don't like my decision, the phaser on the screen is pointed right at my goddamn head. So you did that on purpose so you could just fire that phaser and make me disintegrate.
Stuart, so what's your number 1 phaser, Stuart? Let's do this properly, Stuart. What's your number 1 phaser, all Star Trek, and why?
Probably the Dolphin Phaser. It's very ergonomic and futuristic.
This one?
It definitely says Star Trek. Yeah. There's no other weapon in sci-fi quite like it, so it's definitely the Star Trek, the epitome of what Star Trek is. It's not only a weapon, it's a tool.
And it can heat rocks. Sponsored by Dustbuster. Nope, sponsored by... Damn it. See, now this one's not pointed at you, Stuart, so you're safe.
Okay, good. It's pointed at your dick.
Jesus Christ. God damn it. Oh.
All right, Jonathan C. Commander's number 1 is Nemesis. Caps is the Dustbuster. LOL TNG Season 2, I think. Jason Bruin, 5 pounds.
Thank you.
Favorite Elite Force weapon? I don't remember them all, so I can't really tell you.
My gut says a scavenger gun because it's so you use it for so much of the game, but they're all pretty interesting. I would rank them all very highly.
Maybe that may be another live.
Yeah, I love it. I'm bloody hell. Wish they would do Elite Force Remastered because that game is very, very good. And I honestly, I know Stuart did a lot of these in the earlier days. I wish you guys watched Let's Plays, like live plays. I would love to do a live play of Elite Force. I know we can get our minimum super chats. Then I would have a lot of fun and I would love talking to you guys. But I know we wouldn't get it. And I've got other things I need to do with my time. So that's sad, but true. If you don't watch it, we can't do it. I would love to do it, but meh. What are you going to do? Hey, good face from though to stop.
I didn't hear any of that.
That's okay.
No.
But they did.
That's okay. All right, cool.
And speaking is half the battle.
Yo, Joe. A saucy puppet show throws in $20.
Oh my god.
Thank you so much.
Woo!
I think both number 1s are on point here. One is the best for the next generation era tool type phaser. The other is the best gun type phaser. And that speaks a lot to, actually that speaks a lot to us, our age difference, our way we think. I'm more the cowboy, the older style. You're like the new generation.
I'm more the scientist.
Yeah. Hey, that's what makes Trekyards work. We don't have the same opinions. So.
But would you agree this is the best version of all the TNG phasers, though?
Oh yeah, hands down. Okay. The other one you had is way too clunky. This one, at least, I can see the refinement, and I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, I just like the overall. Because also the Cobra head was a symbolic move forward into quality, and like I've held it, and it's actually better than a lot of things. So it just beats other gun shapes to me because there's just guns with shells on. That's a really like, ooh, that was a much better design.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Beatty, $5. The Dolphin really demands smart auto targeting, while a gun grip allows for a more simple auto targeting because it's easier to aim or somewhat aim.
I mean, you say that, but I can point this straight. I mean, it really is not hard. And actually, there's actually these two things you can see when looking down. And so if you just aim between those two things, like, it's actually got a sight if you think about it. Like, there's not again.
If that works as a sight, that's brilliant. Yes.
Well, but I mean, like, there's auto aim for both of ours, so it's more just like in the right, like, the right area. But like, I'm aiming it straight. Like, it's. You obviously haven't held a real one because the toy one's crap. This is good. Like, it is very.
I've held a real one. Remember?
No, the comment.
Oh. Gotcha.
Because that you like, it's not. Yeah, like again, you can't know until you have a real one. But we were going to talk about which ones we would pick in situations. Because if we get another $30 in super chats, that would be ace. So I mean, obviously, we don't just want to say our own personal top ones. Was there anything you would pick in certain situations?
For murdering a bunch of Klingons, the assault rifle for the win.
Fair choice.
Again, it just feels like you just want to.
And they'll give them PTSD as well. They were like, "Oh no, not again."
But see, that's the other thing that honestly, I gotta give you points for the dolphin head. Is it doesn't look like a weapon, even though when it scans, it's obviously a weapon. But as far as going down and not wanting to be confrontational, or we don't want to appear aggressive, so we don't put our shields up. If you have a gun on your hip when you beam down, and a gun's a pretty standard shape, so everybody kind of recognizes that as a weapon, yeah, you're going to raise some eyebrows with one of my phasers that I've chosen. Yours, again, could be anything. It could be a tool. It could be a laser pointer. It could be for playing with the cat. Spot. Just imagine Data's quarters, like phaser marks all over the walls and stuff from playing with Spot with his phaser. So yeah, I agree that it feels more Star Trek and more Starfleet because they are not military. So for it to be a tool and not appear like a weapon is actually a smart idea.
Not just that, you wouldn't, especially the assault phaser or the whatever, you wouldn't take her out and shoot rocks. The vibe
if you had to, you could.
But I mean, the vibe doesn't feel right. You're shooting it with it's a gun. You kill people with it. It's a gun. Like the TOS phaser is a utilitarian tool. So is the hand phaser. These are weapons you use to kill people or stun them. They aren't tools. They're guns. You just shoot people. They feel way more simple. They're not this big interesting idea. They're weapons. You just shoot people. Okay, which is fine. Yeah. That's what they're there for. But they're also there for more things even in TOS.
Yeah. And as for purpose-wise, I do agree that yours is more multi-purpose, especially for away missions. These are more for specific tactical missions, or where you're going to be going into a hotspot. Adam makes a good point. The Dolphin Phaser is good for short range, but a handled phaser would be better for longer range as far as accuracy goes, I think. So I agree with that. Just trying to think here of the other ones on the list. There are some that didn't make the list as well. There's quite a few. Let's pull that up. What was there was the other dolphin head phaser type thingy, which was lot 016. You had the other one on the early part of your list, but not the one in the middle there.
Yeah, that's the endgame phaser. It was made just for endgame.
You're not a fan of that one? That's a more refined version of the one you like.
Well, no, it is just the endgame phase they repainted. There's no other okay, there's a crystal in the front, but it is just the endgame phaser. But it feels the same. They just gave it for Janeway. It's a one-off alternate future. It's how can I make a one-off alternate future you know what I mean? It's yeah. I mean, you're right. It is a nicer phaser, but it's it still handles the same. But color-wise, it certainly fixes a lot of the endgame stuff. But I kind of took it out of my list just because it's just not the default. But you are right, it's definitely a nicer version. Thank goodness to Voyager to make that alternate. But also you only see it in one shot. You easily miss it. It was more of it's like Picard's phaser in First Contact has a red trigger. It's the only one that does because.
Oh wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, it's okay. Sure.
Speaking of Picard, there was a Picard phaser on this list, which is a really odd design. Handle wise and stuff, but didn't make the cut, unfortunately. So I was actually surprised by the amount of phasers you found. So Area 51, $5. Have either of you thought about designing your own original phaser? No.
Yes, vaguely. I don't know. How would you do it? I mean, how can you beat the TNG phaser in just that style? I wouldn't want to try. And then make a gun phaser. You want to link to something else? Where would you put it in the era? It's hard,
I'd have one that has a power pack around your wrist, and then the emitters on your fingers, so you can literally do this. Just shoot people. Expendables. Once you've seen the Expendables at the beginning where he like points, the guy drops because he got a sniper up on the hill. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt you'd have to challenge us with like design a new Enterprise C gun. Like you'd have to give us a specific task, just like a phaser. It's like so broad. If you said design a pre-NX phaser, it's like okay, which is good, but like I couldn't improve this except adding more like buttons or whatever. I would do nothing to it. So what can you do? And the assault phaser, I'm sure you wouldn't do much to the assault phaser. Maybe just like make the side panel thingies more like LED light things. Yeah, well, I'm sure you have to give it LED light.
I would change the modern gun elements here, because as soon as I hold this, I automatically think to the Colt 45, and that's the safety release. That's the thing for the slide. They literally took them right off of a modern gun. Mm-hmm. So,
which is very weird for them.
It totally is. Yes.
Very strange. Yeah. But I mean that one is screaming for some sort of panel that has lights. Obviously, not when you're using it tactically, but when you're going to a mission and then press some stuff. Like it's weird. It's a complete lack. Like it's clearly the one before that had lots of lights. It's weird that one's completely devoid of a touchscreen, light screen, display. I would
also add a thing right here which has a little holographic pop up for a target.
That's cool.
For crosshairs.
For manual aim.
Cool. Yeah.
Phaser, turn on manual aim. Are you sure? Yes!
That mode is not recommended.
Shut up. And obviously you would make a monopod clip extender.
I want to see a Gatling phaser. I want somebody to design a Gatling phaser.
Elite Force 2.
Oh, that's true. Fuck, you're right.
Mm-hmm. It's just a Gatling gun. Like, it's not a phaser by any means. But there is one. It's actually not very good, weirdly. It's not very good. But I think what I would use. See, I kind of like the Star Trek 2 one because it looks so non-aggressive and yet still a gun. I'd pick that for like away missions on a planet where you're trying to make a passive feel. Like, okay, I've got it in a holster because it needs a holster, but I'm not like it's not making a statement. It's just a weapon. If that makes sense. I'd pick that for that. Kind of neutral weapon. It feels very neutral to me.
No, I can see that. Plus, you don't even have to take the handle part down. That's the thing. You can detach the phaser ones from a lot of these as well, and then they don't appear at all like weapons. And a lot of times they don't have the phaser 2 attached to them in TOS and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you'll see them with just the phaser 1. Because it's easier to clip on or Velcro on your belt, essentially.
But I think we're including those being totally separate weapons. So if you're going to do a Type 1, you just say use a Type 1. But yeah, and I always like that idea that they just have it on his belt. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
A lot easier to lose, though.
Stuart, it's space Velcro.
It is.
Although, boy, that must be good Velcro, because when they're like running and... Can you imagine the most awkward thing? Kirk's running in this minefield and... What? I dropped my phaser! Well, yeah, because it's behind you on your ass and you just hit a tree. It's like, it must be really good Velcro. You know what I mean? How awkward would that be?
And it's like 2-year-old Velcro where all the like little loops are all frayed, so it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I want to know with you guys, what are your personal favorite? And please spam the chat right now. If we got $20, that'd be nice. We're below our minimum, but hey, we got close to the 20, which is brilliant. Thank you so much for that one. So let us know right now, spam in the chat, your favorite phaser. And just like gut reaction,
And AC Castillo says, did either of them, anyone say the JJ flip around phaser? Yes, this was both of our number 10s, but the one from Beyond, not the one from the 2009 film. They're basically alike, but
it's just a refinement. As with many things, Beyond refined it into better.
Yeah, so just spam the chat. Your favorite phaser. Do it now. Go.
Like gut reaction, because as we did say, there are so many different it's called magnets. Yeah, okay. Space magnet Velcro. There you go, fixed. Ooh,
and it's clearly not magnets, because in TOS you hear them actually rip it off with the Velcro. You hear the Velcro a few times.
Space Velcro.
So we got Cobra, Dolphin, NX Phaser, boo, Spartan, Star Trek 6 Phaser, Early TNG or Enterprise phase pistol. Combat phaser. Now, is that this one?
It's gotta be.
You're referring to?
Gotta be.
I would think so.
Yeah. Peter Capaldi says Star Trek 3 phaser.
Hey, Peter Capaldi, how's it going? Your number one are my two favorites. Your number ones are my two favorites. So he likes the assault phaser and the dolphin head. See, we're a good team because we represent two different eras. The first contact ones.
That's just these. They're just the dolphin.
Is it?
Yeah, but like I say, just with a red trigger for Picard. That's why they're so great. They last from like most of DS9, all of Voyager, and 2 of the 3 movies. Like they're the longest running phaser.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's a reason for that. Although
Ozzy, one of our presidents, says the phaser Type 2 and from TOS and the Star Trek Wrath of Khan phaser.
And Dan did say the relativity phaser, which only occurred to me once actually someone else said it earlier in the chat, which I do like in concept.
I'll have to take a look at that.
Like it's weird as hell.
I just watched that episode yesterday, literally.
Well, it's not in the episode enough to notice. It's very sidelines. Used more in the future tense episodes.
But I gotta say, the tricorder in that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a nice one. It's a very it's too small, but it makes sense. So it's like hard to argue with. You know, what can you say about that? No, I like the relativity phaser in concept. It's so weird and out there. And yeah, it's just it's like, how is that a weapon? 'Cause it's the future. So works for me. I actually have one, so I've held a pretty poor well, not poor, but I'm not gonna call it as being super accurate, but I mean I have a one.
Yeah, I just fell into a rabbit hole of phaser things. Hold on, I'm gonna crawl out of there. There we go. We got DS9, TOS, Star Trek 3 phaser, transporter gun. That's the AR 116 or 113.
116.
116. That's one. Yeah, it's I'd say that's probably my favorite rifle. Which
spoilers.
Yeah. I'm right. We gotta hold it too. First contact phaser. Peter Capaldi's LOL. Hi, doctor. Christopher Beatty, $5. A TOS Type 1. Oh, you like the Type 1? I don't like the Type 1 on its own. Like, I get it, but I consider it all part of the same. Like, it's all one weapon. You know, with the Type 2 as well.
I mean, I like the concept and I understand it, but it's a little box. It is just. I mean, it looks nice for a little box, but it's a little box. You know what I mean? It's probably what it would really be in the future, just a very functional little box, but doesn't make it aesthetically the best phaser. Well, I kind of always expect you to have that on your top 10 as like a. See, I got 2 TOS phasers on my list. I'm like, yes, you do, Stuart. Yes, you do. You get different slots. I understand that. Well, you could have been a real like annoying man and had like TOS Type 1, Type 2, Sorry 6 Type 1, Type 2, Sorry 3 Type 1, Type 2, Sorry 4 Type 1, Type 2. There's the 10.
My number 1 was the Type 1. My number 2 was the Type 2.
Yeah. Because you could have literally had 5 phasers, just all the Type 1 and Type 2s. And
damn it, why didn't I think of that?
It would have been funny though. I would have picked up very quickly, but that wouldn't be great. All your bottom 5 are the 5 Type 2s of the same as your Type 1 list.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
And Area 51 makes a good point. The relativity phaser does look very Cardassian. Yes, it does.
Hey, maybe the Cardassians helped design phasers in the 20th century. I'm sure they are part of the.
Surprised.
Yeah, they are part of the Starfleet. So Federation. I mean.
Discovery phaser is my number 3. Dolphin head, the one you didn't put in at number 1.
But yeah, no, I'm very happy to have my number 1. I'm happy to have your number 1. I haven't got a really nice version of the assault phaser. I've got obviously the plastic one, which is good, and I used it actually for my oldest web series, and obviously in Temporal Anomaly. It was fun to shoot it. Well, I didn't shoot it, but it was fun to be shot. I almost bought a hero version, but the price difference is astounding because Unlike the other phases where they can be like 92% resin molded, that gun needs to, that phaser, Freudian slip, has to be or should be a lot of metal to make it all fit really well. And so it's kind of like, it's a big jump, and it's not worth it, honestly. Like, it's still just a prop. A resin one is absolutely, I'd rather have a resin one that's nice than a metal one, but that wasn't an option and whatever. So, like I'd want mine all the buttons to move, like your one. Like, I'd want it to be different pieces put together, so at least a bit of, because I think on your one, I think I hold up again, isn't like the switches all a bit too connected? They're almost kind of blended into the hull.
Yeah, they are. It's like, it's a 3D printed resin one. That's sanded and finished, and so it's got that good heavy resin weight, but it's all just one piece. So
so that's would be my distinction. But hopefully at some point I'll get one of those.
But honestly, they're going to be like posed for pictures. They're going to be in your holster most of the time. Yeah,
but I'm saying if I'm getting my one, I'm getting like I'm only going to get one.
Yes.
I just don't want a metal one; it's too expensive. So. Yeah.
Saucy Puppet Show throws in $15 this time, so thank you so much.
Boom.
It's amazing, helping us get towards the goal. We're only $15 away from our goal now.
That is true.
So.
Ooh, 3 5s and we're there. That's true.
3 5 super chats would be great. But a Saucy Puppet Show says, I remember thinking the Dustbuster was cool when I was a kid. Not sure what I was thinking. It's because it's the first time we had seen it, and it's like, that's an interesting design for a weapon. Cool.
Well,
and then we hadn't got anything else to compare it to, except for the TOS. So then they fixed it.
Thing is, the Dustbuster has a really great emitter. Like, that's a really lovely detail. We've also seen a real one. It's like, oh, that's really kind of cool.
Can you pull a picture of one so people can see it?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me find one.
Might as well, because you're talking about the emitter and stuff. So
yeah, because it wasn't on our list, so it wasn't in my folder. 1 second. But it has a few, obviously, impracticalities. But they moved away from it pretty quickly, obviously.
Yeah.
So there's the... But I mean, look how... And obviously, this is a 30-year-old damaged one.
It's a screen-used prop, yeah.
Yeah, but the emitter is complicated, and it all lit up, and it was elaborate. Like, it has a lot more vibe to it. Although, this version, obviously, the LED is just a printed sticker. So, you know, again, Hero ones of everything look better, but it's just so chunky chicken and awkward looking.
Interestingly enough, the design of that emitter fits exactly with the design of the deflector on the Enterprise.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
oh, yeah.
They're absolutely related tech-wise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
That's a nice little visual detail that not a lot of people would notice. Mm-hmm. So,
but I would have put some things in between the emitter and the power indicator. Like, that's just a big, bulky, open nothing. Like just these having these makes all the design difference. Obviously, they improved it. But what's weird about these ones, besides their weird bulk, and they're also unbalanced. Like, obviously, look at them.
They can't see the picture. They said they can see the thumbnail.
Oh.
I can only see the thumbnail too.
Okay,
so.
well, we moved on to the we moved on back to we finished. So, there you go. But they look silly because they're so much bigger. I remember in Best of Both Worlds, they're on their holsters, and the holsters like slapped their sides, and they're like massive. They're just obscenely big.
Yeah.
Like, how is this a good idea to have something this huge when considering TOS was smaller and cleaner, and the Type 1s exist? It's like, why? So yeah.
Yeah. But now you guys can see it. Just think about the deflector dish on the Enterprise. Yeah. And the colors, the shapes are very similar.
Makes all the sense.
So, and you can see it now because I still can't see the Dustbuster, no picture. I can see it on my end on the preview, so I don't know why you guys wouldn't be able to.
Well, it was presumably paused and we haven't got there yet, or some such.
Maybe. Yeah, now people are talking about it, okay. AC Costello, $2. Star Trek II Original, smooth lines, quad emitters, sexy. Yeah, the quad emitters and the nozzle or the emitter thing on the Star Trek II one is really cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, most people weren't a fan of this design, Ryan, so that's fine.
It's just an odd choice. It makes you think that they couldn't make anything smaller because they had limited vacuum formability, but like you could though. I'm sure you could.
But they did. They had the little Type 1 style phaser,
the crickets,
which was, yeah. which was too small because it didn't show up on camera. It looked like they're firing from their fingertips, which I think is stupid, but whatever. So that's why they did this. Did they ever? They used the crickets a few times though, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just don't stand out because, of course, they don't. They're tiny, and we actually held. I think we held one when we held them all, and it was obscenely small.
Probably. Oh, it's not really much smaller than this though. It's about the same size. And I remember the little clips, the little things. I just shot my leg off. Little things they had on their uniforms to put them in.
I feel like it was at least 25% smaller, like lengthwise, because that's a decent size. Maybe, I don't know, but why does it feel? Why does that feel so much more substantial than the other one? Maybe because it's the box and not the curves. Because it's got a lot more curves the other one, so it blends in to its own shape.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is weird. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's fine. Don't worry. You know what, guys? Last round of spam the chat, and if you say this, you cop out. You're doing a cop out. What is your least favorite phaser? Now, we're not saying hate, just least favorite Federation phaser design. Just
Least favorite Federation design.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued. As we close out, hopefully the last $13. Least favorite phaser design. I assume we have to think about it.
Have to be the Dustbuster personally. So.
Ooh. I'll probably say the Vengeance phaser because it's just not a Star Trek phaser. But then it's like probably the Picard phaser second because it's like the almost exact same design. Like I'm actually looking side by side. It's like, oh fuck, it's the same damn design. Actually, they clearly had seen Into Darkness, and it's like, oh, great, cool, thanks. That's actually really similar. I mean, more similar than anything else in Star Trek. So, great.
Yeah, it almost looks backwards though. Looks like it was built backwards.
Which one? The Picard one?
The Picard one, yeah. I almost prefer that they just swivel the handle around and have the wider part be the front with the way that's set
Well, then it'll feel like the Franklin phaser.
Well, yeah.
I think it's a fine-looking weapon. I don't mind it. Like, I like the lines. But as a Star Trek phaser, it's awful. But that's a very specific criteria.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, put the thing in the... Oh, and yeah, the JJ first one would be high on the list because it just looks not very good. The big bright chrome and this... And just it's so obnoxious that moment when... Who is it? Spock and Kirk run through the garbage-looking Romulan ship. It's like... Pew! And they flip it and it's right in front of a frame. And it's like, oh, God. Oh.
Look what our phasers can do, guys.
It's like, oh, this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
All right, so we've got the Cricket, Star Trek 6.
Wow.
Kelvin Steampunk, barf. Yeah, that concept one for the Kelvin film, I think is my least favorite, actually. Phase Pistol, Star Trek 2009, Dustbuster, JJ Movie Flipper. What about Chekhov's Covert Phaser in Star Trek 4?
Like Klingon phaser. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it was.
It's like Klingon TOS Type 1. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's meant to be like that also feels like a tool. That's not like a phaser. It's like a laser tool that he happens to have. I mean, I know it's a phaser, but it's not like a Klingon actual military grade phaser because clearly it's not.
It was a Klingon lockpick.
Which are very aggressive in the Klingon universe. Their lockpicks have some bite. That was actually a laser pointer, Stuart. They have really powerful laser pointers.
I'd buy it. Eric Martin, $5. Worst phaser is JJ from 2009. Stupid red and blue flip phaser. Yeah, but they refined it quite a bit for Beyond. I do like the Beyond version because of the changing the shape of the emitters was a big thing, and also toning it down a little bit. So brightness wise, shiny wise.
Yeah, and just the sleekness of those, like what's it called, the carbon fiber feeling look. It's good.
Well, $8 more, guys, would be fantastic.
Oof, right there.
Probably 7 more likes. Let's see if we can get to 175.
Ooh, 7. Yeah.
7 likes, I think, is doable, and another $8 would be fantastic because then we would hit our
Minimum, yeah.
minimum, yeah.
And we want to see that like spike. We'll challenge you all. There's enough of you here. 7 more.
7 more likes.
And this was a bonus live, you guys, because I got some filming coming up, and this helps. As you guys may or may not know, I'm doing the short treks in Indiegogo, to which Stuart is playing a captain in them. There's some fun lines, and there's a Doomsday Machine short, and there's a Stargate short, Star Trek short, etc. I'm sure we'll do a live on that next week, talking about it, as well as Saturday at some point. But obviously tomorrow Saturday is the Anti-Trekker Part 2. The debate is the TOS Warbird, Bird of Prey. Should it still be canon? Not the appearance, but the design itself. You know? Does that make sense?
Answer yes.
The answer is yes. I mean, I would still like update it, but I would keep the shapes. I would just add more detail.
Yeah.
Like, it's not hard. 4 more likes, $8. 4 more likes. 4 more likes.
4 more likes. $8. Come on, guys. Yeah, so tonight I'm still doing my
Yes.
if I'm doing trivia, or if I'm just gonna do hangout, or if I'm gonna do what am I gonna do? Join me tonight sometime, well, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the channel for I don't know what yet. Probably trivia. I do like doing the trivia. It's really fun. So
you get challenged by our wonderful audience.
Yes. So, and you guys can, decide whether I drink or not, which sometimes turns out not so well.
It's amazing how often we put our bladders and our lives in the hands of our fans, isn't it? But we have no choice in those.
Yeah.
But they don't let us down. They're very good.
2 more likes, 175.
Ooh.
Kind of giving up on the $8 of super chat, but that's okay.
That's okay.
1 more like, 174.
So close.
Oh, Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Type 1, first snipe. In Conspiracy, Riker showed how powerful it was by taking Commander Remek's face off.
Well, there was 2 Type 1s that did that. But yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That is one of the big times you remember using it. And it makes
blow
sense.
Up his head.
He turned inside out and he exploded.
Well, we hit 176, 177 now, and we
Ooh.
hit our goals. Thank you so much, guys,
Wonderful.
for both. Metallica fan, 1442, £2. Thanks for all the content. Well, thank you for watching the content, because if you didn't watch it, we wouldn't be here doing it. So,
and we are eagerly awaiting the new treks, where you're going to get too much content from us. It's going to be a hectic good time. But we had I literally googled. Oh, Stuart's gone. Yes, I literally googled some of these phases.
love how it dies right at the end.
It often does.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I literally googled some of these phases and I got our videos, like the Picard phaser. That's because we're the ones that look at these phases. So
I did too.
Yeah.
I've noticed that a few times. I'm looking things up and I'm like, God damn it.
Because no one looks at this stuff except us, which is great. We love it. And I'm sure the prop people will watch our videos on them because it's the only video on them.
I hope so, yeah. All right, guys, we hit both our goals. We got 178 likes and
Super
our
duper.
minimum for the super chats. So thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Like I said, tune in tonight and tomorrow for the Saturday video. And then I'm not sure what we're going to be looking like next week for lives. But
as I said, I am filming on Thursday, so I will not be available Wednesday or Thursday. And you'll see a tie of me on Friday if I'm around. But that's just an update from me. But you will see some pictures on the Trekyards page of the Thursday shooting. Hey, I may stream it on the Facebook page for a few seconds. Who knows? That might be fun. I don't know.
that'd be awesome.
There you go. I mean, it'll obviously be quite early in the day for everyone, but yeah, you can watch it later, obviously.
And Eric Martin, $5. That big phaser on the stand firing at the rock face in the cage was cool. That was a phaser cannon. Yeah.
Definitely cool for the time.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the time, Stuart.
It's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
He's Commander Calkins.
He's got a Foley.